Hey everyone, I'm Corinna Arnold, and this is your March energy update. All right, let's get into it. Before we get into the March energy update, a couple things. I want to give a shout out to one of my youngest viewers and clients, and it was my birthday in February. So I won't even get into February yet. Let's just February is a whole other other topic. It's been an interesting month. Let's just say that. But I wanted to give a shout out to Lexi, who watches both myself and our Divine Connections channel that I have with Tyler. By the way, if you haven't followed Divine Connections yet with Tyler and I, please do. It's saved as one of my favorites here. And we're doing some pretty cool videos on there. We just finished a 3-part series on ego. And a lot of great information came through. And thank you so much for all your support in those new videos. It's been great to see your comments and feel your love and your encouragement. So thank you for that. So I just wanted to share this beautiful painting that Lexi did for my birthday, which was February 1st, 1971. People always ask my astrological chart. There I am, February 1st, 1971. It's just beautiful. And Lexi, thank you so much. Like I said, I get so many beautiful paintings. Lexi, I don't know how old you are. You're definitely under 18. I think definitely under 16. Should I say more closely to 13? I think. I could be wrong, but I can tell you are going to be. Artistry is one of your things, and these are all my favorite colors and important colors for me for a variety of reasons. So thank you for tuning in and sharing that with me. It was very special to receive, and I can't thank you enough. So thank you, beautiful Lexi. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. Okay, let's talk about February a little bit. It was another heavy month, right? A lot of energy of overwhelm for people in the field, and they did attempt to prep us for that in the energy update. Similar to January, there is a lot going on, a lot being opened up to be seen and witnessed and exposed within ourselves and also around us. That has left this feeling of chaotic energy, uncertain energy, intense energy that's left people feeling very overwhelmed. I myself has felt very overwhelmed. I feel like I can't keep up with it, to be quite honest with you. That's where I'm at. And I'm having to go back and see where it is I need to find more balance in my life. And you guys might be feeling that too. I obviously have a very busy life with everything I work on and co-create, and I have a lot of passion for, and with all my clients and my readings and healing sessions and courses and this work that I do here on YouTube, plus just life. There's been a lot going on in my life. Unfortunately, we did lose our beautiful Scarlett in the month of February, so that has been a massive loss for the family. She was with our family for 10 years, and she was a beautiful dog and soul, and that has been a transition. I am not the only one that has lost pets, that even I know in my immediate surrounding. People that I know have also lost beloved pets, family members. There's lots of transition happening in the field right now, guys. And it's almost too much to try to grasp onto. And so they're just talking to me now. And what they just said to me is, we shouldn't be grasping onto it. This is part of just trying to get us into the flow and getting us comfortable for change. And the resistance piece that we feel is we're fighting to try to keep it normal. We're fighting to try to keep it the same. We're fighting to try to keep it balanced and whatever normalized is. And they just said to me, it's futile at this point because it's happening so quickly, so fast. We just have to step into our own sense of empowerment, listen to our own intuitive natures, and really start to flow with what is coming through with us and for us right now, both in the collective and personally within ourselves. I just heard change, change, change. I keep saying to them, I was saying to them this morning, I would really love to go on here and give a message of, we did it, we made it, everything's good, everything's great. And you know what? We're a process, right? It's just a work in process. And I know it's heavy in the field right now, and my heart is going out to so many of you that I know are struggling. And for those that aren't struggling, just a reminder to be an open vessel and of kindness to those that are. But quite honestly, I don't know very few people that aren't really going through massive transition personally, in career, health-wise. So much going on right now, even in my own family, regarding health and transitions on health. And all of it, though, if you look at it from a bigger picture, is bringing us into our best and highest state. And I know that's difficult to see when we're going through chaos in many ways. But similar to the message, they want to remind us of the message they have in February. They're trying to encourage us to pull back and see things from a bigger picture. There's much bigger things unfolding for us that are leading us to bigger and greater places, more places of peace and contentment. And that's difficult to see in the middle of the chaotic change. So just hold on to your hats, is what they said. Anything else I need to say about February that I wanted to touch base on? I think I'm going to leave it at that. If you haven't watched my February update, feel free to go back and do that. I always feel that when you watch these videos, anyone's videos on YouTube, you're watching them exactly at the timeline you're supposed to. So even though it says January, even though it says February, and sure, it's applicable to the energy of that particular month, it might be applicable, there might be messages applicable to you. So if you feel guided to go back and watch that February update, even watch January, even watch my October one, there's reasons for that. So listen to that intuitive message and go back and watch. I know I had someone comment on the channel that they had just recently watched my January and my February, and it was very helpful for them in understanding what was going on for them personally and collectively. So always trust that you're being guided to exactly where you need to be. Even if there's a video 5 years old from a teacher here on YouTube, go back and listen to it. There's a reason why you're being guided there. Okay, without further ado, let's go into the March reading. As always, I pre-pulled the cards. I have not intuitively looked into them at all, and I do intuitively read all the cards, but it's interesting. With a particular card, I was told to read something specifically out of the book, so I'll have to go in there. I just pulled the book, and we'll have to see what that is. I pulled many different cards from many different decks, which they're saying, it's scattered energy. Of course, we're going to come in with scattered, energy, pulling it together from a whole bunch of different places. They're saying it's representative of what's happening in the field right now, where it feels very scattered, but there's a method to the madness. There's a method to what's actually unfolding here. And it's like they're pulling from all different parts of ourselves and all different parts of the collective and field to holistically bring a full vision together. And that's why they said this card spread is very representative of that. That's interesting, of why they're pulling from a whole bunch of different places to bring kind of a balanced message and a more cohesive message of healing. They said March. That's interesting because they just said to me, March will be a month for healing. Interesting, because I wasn't picking up on that beforehand. It is going to be a month of healing on many, many different levels for many different people. So let's see what that means here. First card we got was Archangel Gabriel, and it's the 5th chakra. Now, what was interesting about this is in February, we were really asked to speak our truth, and that there's going to be healing coming through, moving energy through that blue chakra. The one thing that I'm getting on this, and they just said, by the way, that's still true for March. There's an empowerment piece about speaking your truth, allowing, they want to be cautious and make sure that we're doing this from a loving place. But as discernment becomes more predominant in our field for each of us, we need to speak it into reality. We need to hold on to our truth. And there are times where we're going to be required to speak up. And for some of us that come with very gentle energies, sometimes that can be challenging. But there is a time, and they're just saying many of you have done the work, where you're capable of coming from a higher perspective, a more balanced perspective, and you're going to be able to deliver a balanced message. It's interesting because they're saying this is specific to a couple of you that are watching this. So if you've had doubts about your ability to actually communicate around important, sensitive topics, know that you're going to be able to do that in a balanced way, in a balanced aspect. The other thing that I'm getting with this card, though, which is interesting, and you'll be able to see the card more when we pop it up there, is I'm getting there's healing coming forward through sound, because they actually have a horn here, and I'm feeling waves of energy in behind him. I think there's going to be something important that's coming forward in the field. I don't think particularly, it might not be highlighted in March, but there's something coming forward in the sense of healing through vibration and frequency. So whether that's a breakthrough that's coming forward, whether all of a sudden it starts being recognized by conventional medicine, I'm not sure what's happening here. But they said, worst case scenario, regardless of how anyone else wants to recognize it, the fact is that frequency heals, that tones heal, that sound heals. And so this month, take time to make sure that you're saturating your energy in those frequencies and those vibrations that will help support to lift your energy up, because I feel like we all need a bit of an energy lift, and also help to transmute, because there's a big transmutation of energy happening for all of us right now. That shadow self, there's a lot of transmuting that's happening right now, and integration that's happening right now. And so it's this piece that for some reason they're talking about sound, music, vibration is going to be very helpful for you in this transmutation and integration piece. So for me, myself, I know when I'm sleeping, I listen to various types of tones and megahertz. And I like saturating myself in that kind of soothing energy. And there's different frequencies and vibrations that you can listen to support different types of healing. So whether that's rest, whether that's DNA, whether that's opening up your third chakra, I'm not going to go into it all because there's a lot of stuff on YouTube about that. Feel free to look into it. And I just heard the word sound again. Sound is important right now. The sound of your own voice, because there's something about speaking something into reality, speaking your truth, speaking something into reality, and also sound for healing as well. Again, transmutation of something in your energy field. Now this is interesting. The next card we got was, what does it say? A creative endeavor. A creative endeavor. The one thing that they're saying here, okay, so here we've got music again, guys. We've got the violin. Music is important right now. Sound is important right now. For those of you that are artistic, even creating something with music to assist others would be profound. It's interesting because, of course, they've got creative endeavor and the easel there as well, creation. We are in a very, they're saying as much as we're transmuting and releasing, we're also creating, right? We're also doing both dualistically at the same time. So we're very much in the months of March, about January and February. And again, through the first part of March, I'm feeling there's this transmutation, this integration of the new frequency that's come in, of this fifth dimensional frequency that's come in, but it's also creating a vision going forward. There's a creative energy here that we're being pulled towards, as I'm feeling like this energy is pulling me forward in it. And then you can also probably see in that card the river and movement. So there is movement forward in creating a new vision, a new dawn. I feel a new dawn energy coming in here. There is a new dawn coming. They just said to me it's already here, but what we're recognizing is that we are fully responsible and now engaging in the process of co-creating something new for ourselves personally, and putting it out into and it's collectively happening as well as a larger vision for the earth. They just said the time is now. So if the time was ever saturated enough in the field for you to really move forward on a solid vision for your life, and how do we co-create that? They're just saying to me they want to get into the fundamentals of creation with everyone. What does it look like to actually create your best life? What is it to move beyond a vision and to actually move on to the steps to create the vision to come to fruition? And so there's this very creative energy, this movement forward of creating a new dawn, moving beyond the vision. So we actually put it into concrete form. They said put it on paper. That's interesting. Put it on paper, put the steps on paper. What do we need to do? What's the first step? What's the second step as we start to move forward? The other thing that the next card that came out was Soul's Expansion. Now I am probably, so this is the Light Keeper, Keepers of the Light Oracle card by Cal Gray. And knowing me, I'm probably going to mispronounce his name, so forgiveness they're asked. Mohavatar Babaji. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things. The interesting thing is we got this a second time with another card a little bit further down in the spread. So I'm just going to bring it up now. It's Divine Consciousness and Consciousness Expansion. We all know that that's what's happening right now for us, right? There's an expansion in the consciousness of the earth plane, and there's an expansion of consciousness within yourself. The one message that they just had through all of this is they said, be patient with yourselves, please, right now. We have the habit, they just said to me, of wanting everything now. I want it now. And they just said to me, soul's expansion. They just said, think about how long it took for the cosmos, for the galaxies, for the dimensions to all create. You know, how long did it take for the earth to be created? How long did it take for the skies and the stars to be created? You are no less than that. And so we have a habit here of wanting everything now, and it's a culture that's perpetuated the vibration of everything now. I want it now. I want it immediately. And what they're trying to remind you of is that this is an evolution. And it can be a slow expansion and evolution. And they said you're going faster than you even realize. But it doesn't need to happen today, tomorrow, the next day. Be patient with the process. Be patient through the evolution. They're just saying to me, you know, man did not just start walking, or, a lizard didn't start becoming a snake, or vice versa. There was an evolutionary process that happened. There's an evolutionary process that's happening within you as well, within the earth as well. And so surrendering to that as this new soul's expansion, as your divine consciousness is expanding, they just said to me, can you have patience, please? Can you have patience? Can you let this actually come into the field, saturate into the field? And can you just sit with it for a minute? Sit in the discomfort of the change. Sit in the discomfort of the unknowingness. Sit in the discomfort of the unveiling of the shadow piece that's still coming up. And they said in February, we said this again, we know you get annoyed with the still, but it is what it is. And there's a message here about moving away from resistance and wanting it to be something that it is not. I had an interesting experience yesterday when I was doing an activity and I really didn't want to do it. And I just kept hearing from my guides, stop resisting. And it's interesting that this message is coming up again. And I just kept hearing, let go, stop resisting. Be patient. Let go of this energy of resistance that many of us have of wanting it to be different than what it is right now. There's a reason why everything is happening in the divine timing that it's happening. And if it needed to be different, it would be different. It would be different, but it's not. And this is where we are right now. And it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable physiologically. It's going to be uncomfortable to bear witness to. It's going to be uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. And as they've said numerous times with me, and they're saying it again, we're going through the birth canal here of birthing something new. And that means discomfort. And why are we resisting it? Can we not just accept it for what it is? Because there's greater peace and ease when we accept it. So this is the card that came up, which was gold. And it was interesting because last month they talked about that. And here they are talking about it again. And it's for the Archangel Metatron deck, gold, cup of replenishment. This was the card that they actually, I heard you need to actually read something out of the book. So I am going to honor that and go through that. If you haven't got this Amanda Ellis deck, look how beautiful this book is. It's a beautiful deck. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just going to see where it is my eye is drawn that they want me to actually tune into. So they said, in this place of divine truth and life where your soul resides, as you prepare for initiation, Archangel Metatron, sacred circle of light, allows any heaviness to dissolve that prevents this. So they talked about the transmutation process we're going through, the integration process. To be in Metatron's presence is to remember your wisdom, your power, and your holiness. No more playing small. You are here to shine and to excel at anything you choose to do. Through adversity, which I know a lot of us are feeling, you also can grow and evolve to reach a more enlightened and fruitful place of being. To shine for others and for yourself, that is why we are here. Reach for the cup when you're feeling weary or in difficulty. So this is what they want to talk about, is they're talking about that golden energy. And it's interesting because now they're reminding me, every day I have been surrounding myself in gold energy. And I've been telling a lot of people, surround yourself in gold, wear gold. And they brought that up in February. But I've made it a habit of, I'll see a golden energy, a golden bubble of light around me at this time, because gold is really an important energy for all of us. Gold takes away any fear, any doubts you may have, and replaces them with certainty, strength, and centeredness. You feel your solar plexus being replenished by this gold recharging energy. The golden light confers protection too. A cocoon of gold surrounds every part of you. You're always safe within it and are able to receive as well as give positive light energy. The other thing that they want to talk about, so I mean, that pretty much sums up why gold is so important for us right now in the field. I really love the infinity symbol in this, and it was interesting because I had done a couple of treatments today with people, and I was guided to use the infinity symbol. I'm just asking them why. He said it goes to the message that you are never ending, and that life is ever evolving, and consciousness is ever evolving. And as we move out from the center point, both in the past and in the future, there's a constant evolution and almost a recycling energy and a balanced energy that happens through this whole experience. So if you can think of yourself, they're saying at the center of the infinity symbol, there is the past energy of your soul's essence, the future energy of your soul's essence, and they're all communicating through that center point, right, of your divine soul's spark. Even if you want to just think about your current soul right now, there's an energy behind you and energy in front of you. And so what it's attempting to do in the field right now is actually find balance in all of that right now. There's some type of energy right now in the field about finding balance and that a remembrance right now that you're not only transmuting and healing in this current lifetime, you're also doing that work in multiple lifetimes, in multiple dimensions, both in front of you, behind you, however you want to view that. And so the infinity symbol is really representing that as well in the field. Because the next card you got beside is you're on a soul's journey. And this journey is one of constant expansion, evolution. I mean, and look how you've had many versions of yourself on this road. You've had many versions of learning, of being a soul's, a portion of your soul has gone through many incarnations in many places in here. There is something much more profound happening here than just what we're seeing right now in this lifetime. This is touching on all lifetimes. This is touching on all dimensions. Oh, I just heard this is helping the galactic energy as well. There's something else. This is much bigger than I think any of us ever realize. I feel very strong galactic energy in this card. This is much bigger than any of us have ever realized what's going on here. And they just said it's okay. You don't need to focus in on that as much. If it feels really overwhelming to you, you can actually leave it. But if you are prone, if you want to explore that, there's more out here for you to actually start understanding about the bigger picture of what's going on right now. Okay, this next card, I know we talked about it as divine consciousness, and we talked about that divine consciousness expansion. But the interesting thing that they're just pointing out to me, they're seeding new light codes, is what I just heard. They're seeding new light codes into the field, which we knew. But I think there's even more coming. I think it's going to be never ending. There's something here about seeding new light codes into the field, and specifically on Earth right now. Of course, it expands out into all things, as everything does. But there's something special about what's happening. Oh, with this card, it's interesting because I'm feeling God's essence here. They just said to me, this is much bigger than anyone really realizes what's happening. And I feel like the earth is literally being touched by God's essence. For the expansion of all is what they just said. So they just said to me, with that being known, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself. Because I just asked them, well, how does that make sense to us today? And they just said, be kind and gentle with yourselves. You're doing the best you can through what is a pivotal moment in the universe. And so no wonder it feels so overwhelming right now. They're also asking you, we got the lead the way card, and it says light your own path. They're just saying to me, there's going to be many paths to walk down, as there is in any life. But this is where discernment comes in right now. This is why they've been so heavy in the last year in working on discernment with everyone. What is it? What is your path? What is your path? They just said to me, it's time to no longer be a follower. It's time to actually step into your own divine spark, your own divine energy. And uniquely, they just said, walk into your own experience. Because yes, we're each having our own divine experience. But what is your path? As we're starting to co-create something new, because we're in this very creative energy, take time to listen to what it is that you've come to contribute to this expansion process. And for each of us, that was going to be very unique. Some they're just saying to me, some of them might overlay. For example, there's lots of people here that do readings on YouTube, right? Lots of people that do energy readings on YouTube. But no one is going to read like I do and my energy, and no one's going to read like someone else does and the energy they bring through. So regardless if there's overlap and there's someone who seems to be doing something similar to you, there's a reason why you're being called to it, because your unique frequency is special, and it's important that you hold that frequency. All right, the next card that we want to talk about is, it's interesting, we get the astral travel card, but I'm more drawn to the caution needed portion of this card. The one thing that they're saying to me is we need to make sure that we're not projecting too far out into the future and too far out into the field with our energy. There is a request from them to be here now, and that is one of the more important now than it ever has been. There will be they're saying the draw for some of us to, and they're saying it's okay, I mean, to connect in with our higher version of ourselves, and moving out into higher levels of consciousness and connecting in through them with meditation or whatever it is how we choose to do that. But they said more than anything, this month in particular, try to be here in the moment as much as possible. They just said to me, and they showed me, that many people are trying to pull themselves out of these now moments because they're sometimes painful, they're sometimes confusing, and so what they're cautioning is a propensity to try to connect into other worlds, into other aspects of ourselves, into other places, other astral projections of ourselves, other dimensions. And they said it's all fun to play with, but at the end of the day, where's your focus? And they just said, be here now. Be here through this whole experience of what's transforming, this transformative time. They just said, you chose to be here during one of the most transformational times on earth. And so some of us in the spiritual community, they're saying, are uncomfortable with this process at times. And so we keep projecting our energy out into different portions of ourselves in the field. And they said we need to draw all that energy back in. They just said to me, draw all your power, all your aspects into this now moment, because that's the most powerful change agent you're going to have. And so they're just cautioning about wanting to, they keep saying astral project into other places, spiritual overriding, wanting to skip over some of these uncomfortable moments and steps. And they're like, it just doesn't work that way. You have to actually be here, be in the moment. This was the lesson you came for. The lesson you came for it was to live through this experience and draw out from it every juicy piece. No matter how painful, no matter how discomforting, no matter how frustrating, just to saturate yourself in it, experience through it, and actually learn from this now moment. So they want you just to stay here now. Okay, one of the things I'm going to do is pull a self-care card for the month. Oop, and it just popped out. The card that we got was self-respect. You're the best judge of what's right. So that's just confirming what came up with lead the way, right? What is best for you. There's a reason why it's best for you, because you come with something unique. There's the requirement here for a lot of self-love right now. There's a requirement here for speaking your truth, standing in your power, not letting anyone minimize you. You came here with a very distinct light, with a very distinct, powerful energy of something to contribute. Don't let people minimize that. I think what they're saying is, as people's shadows are rising, some people are uncomfortable with the light in others, and they're trying to squash it. They just said to me, don't let them do that to you. Let them sit in their discomfort of seeing the light rise. Let them sit in the discomfort of the change. And have respect for your purpose, for your light, for yourself, in standing in your truth and bringing your truth forward, in saying what needs to be said. Don't let people squash you. Don't let people squash you. You know what's best for you. If someone's telling you the only way is left and your heart's telling you, I know it's right, they really want you to get into that discernment piece. And, with all due respect to that other person, listen to your heart. Okay? There's a reason why people are trying to pull you out of that right now, because it's very challenging for them to see the change even in you. So keep doing what's best for yourself in respect to everyone else. It's not like throwing everything to hell in a handbasket. I'm going to do what I'm going to do for myself. There's a certain aspect of that, but with respect and love for all the players, always, right? You can do this. You can say these things. You can take action with considering others, but we cannot be so considerate of others, which some of us light workers do, where we start to dim ourselves down and dim our own light because it makes other people feel uncomfortable with it. And because it's going to bring about change. They just said to me, change is inevitable. So I'm just going to ask now for the month of March, what do we need to surrender out of? Or what do we need to surrender into to draw us towards our best life in the month of March? That's interesting. We just got surrender your fear of intimacy. It says release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. So a lot of what we've been talking about through November, through December, through January, where we've been talking about this heart expansion energy. And it's interesting because it's not every month that card has come up. There's either been the doorway card that's come up and then the heart energy that's come up. It's interesting for the month of March, neither one of those cards have come up. And because they just said to me, the reason is now we're putting practices in place and we're moving forward. We're moving forward now. There is an energy, because I keep feeling them pulling me out of my seat, movement forward. Now it's time to move forward. But we are definitely still releasing patterns in our heart where we have resistance. Again, they're talking about that resistance energy of opening our heart fully to the experience. They just said again, be here now. Be here now. Allow the heart to fully open to the full experience of what this is, even the challenging moments, because we tend to close everything down. We tend to not want to feel the feels that are coming up. When we're opening the heart energy, we're opening to everything. We're opening and exposing what is, and we're allowing it to come forward so we can actually open up brighter, larger. Our energy gets higher. There's lots of changes in... That's interesting. They just said there's going to be lots of changes in intimate relationships, actually, in the way that we're actually receiving and giving love. And we might see a lot of intimate relationships starting to shift. So shifting out of a relationship, needing a different type of relationship. There is a shift here in the way that we actually are going to come into intimate relationships. And even within your own relationship, if you feel that this is a place you still need to share your energy in and you're enjoying it, there's still going to be some kind of shift, because as our hearts open up, we will maneuver through different ways of communicating with each other, different ways of supporting each other. I do feel that there's twofold a message here, that there will be a shift in the way that we intimately show up for one another, because as our heart expands, they just said to me, you have no other choice but to be fully open. And you'll either have intimate relationships, even friendships that are open to that, or relationships in your life where you realize there's no supportive environment for that, and you might need to make a shift around that. But there is a shift in the way many of us are actually coming forward, and they just said to me, where we're re-looking at what is intimacy, what does intimacy look like, what is the new definition of intimacy when we're coming fully heart-centered into a space, and know that there's going to be some transition through that too, through the month of March. It's interesting because as I put these cards down, and we also got the Independence card is actually face up. There is a sense of independence, again, it's just confirming what we talked about really having self-respect, moving forward in what's right for you, knowing you're on your own journey and being your own leader this month. Carving out time for yourself this month to make sure that there's self-care in the field for yourself. They just said to me, the more self-care there is for yourself, the less overwhelm you're going to feel. So if you're feeling really overwhelmed, we need to really slow down and practice on some self-care here to make sure that we're feeling, because what they're saying is our energy systems, it's almost like our nerve endings are raw. They're almost like overexposed. And we need some time to soothe those nerve endings. We need some time to actually get quiet. We need some time to actually take care of ourselves. Even if it's just small moments where we're moving out of the energy of overwhelm and into a more energy of peace and contentment. All right, guys, that was a lot said for the month of March. My deepest hope is that it brings you the guidance that you need as we continue to navigate through this space. They know that it's challenging. They also just said to me, call on us. Make sure you're calling on us for support. So call on your angels and your guides and those divine beings that are here for us, because there is plentiful in the field. I just feel like we're surrounded in it. So much love to you for the month of March, beloveds. I'm going to spray the hope spray because I think we all need a little bit of hope. This has been one of my foundational pieces since the fall, is trying to bring hope energy into the field for my life and for others. And for those of you that can sense this, I just want to bring that into the field for everyone. Just take a moment to take a deep breath, please. Just tune into your heart. They're asking us to tune into our hearts. And just connect into the energy of hope. There's plenty to be hopeful for. I know it's challenging, but there's lots to be hopeful for, and there is good stuff here for you and great stuff coming. All right, take some time for yourself today, please. Be kind to yourself today, and go easy on yourself. We're all doing the best we can through a very challenging time. All right, we'll see you next month. Much love to you all. Take good care of you. Bye-bye.